Hi, everybody. Welcome to the second edition of the virtual version of Fine Arts Friday. I'm Beth Creighton. I'm here with my co-host, the Dean of the College of Fine Arts at Millikan University, Laura Ledford. Hi, Laura.
Hello.
It's good to see you.
Exactly. It's the only way we see people anymore is on a screen.
I know. I was in a Zoom meeting this afternoon with some people that I haven't really seen since all this started, and everybody was like, new faces! You just are so used to seeing everybody on campus. It's weird.
I had to stop into the office this morning, and there were a couple of facilities guys that were working on something down the hall. I couldn't really see their faces, but I was like, hello, people.
Real people.
Hello.
Well, it's been 2 weeks since we've been here. I feel like, I don't know, lots of things have changed and lots of things have remained the same. How have the last 2 weeks been for you?
Well, I have no idea. The passage of time is irrelevant at this point. It could have been 2 hours or 2 months. So that's where I am.
I feel you on that. Well, we want to touch base on a couple of things, but before we do that, we want to thank Newhoff Media, Now Decatur, and WSOY, and Eric Lee, and all the people who are helping us continue to be able to do our show, even though we can't be in the studio. And we definitely have our fingers crossed that we can be back behind a microphone and unseen very soon.
Unseen. Indeed.
We have some guests coming in, but first we wanted to recap on a couple of things that we talked about 2 weeks ago. I had the opportunity to go poke around on artsforillinois.org. We talked about that and how they were offering some individual grants for artists and also for organizations. Yep. They must have had a great response because I saw that individual applications are closed until May 4th to give them time to go through all of them and also to hopefully fundraise for some more to be able to offer. Right. But the organizational grants are still open for application and available to use. There's this really cool thing called a Quarren Stream Theater Festival.
What is that?
Yeah, it's, you go to artsforillinois.org and you'll find it as you scroll down to the bottom and you click on it. And every night for 2 weeks, they're doing live play readings on Facebook Live of new plays. Okay. And all over the country, all different times of day. I would say mostly after like 4 o'clock Central Time. And just a chance to keep like putting new material out there. It's kind of cool.
Well, I think some of our students actually, not on this particular platform, but they'll be submitting some of their own work in the form of readings for the celebration of scholarship. So I think this is something that's kind of catching on, but that's brilliant. What is it? Quarren Stream
Theater Festival.
Okay, well, tune in.
Yeah, I think it started Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. So, and for all I know, you can go back and catch those even if you missed them. But it's kind of cool to like go and watch them live and see that part too.
Yeah. Did you go to the concert last night?
I did. I caught just the tail end of it. And we're going to show part of that in just a little bit with a couple of our guests. But, you know, it's just a testament to how people are still creating and still learning and growing and collaborating even during this super weird time.
It's true. You can't put a good artist down, that's for sure. The tragic part of this, of course, is that we can't all be together and hear people performing in the same space. And especially for collaborative artists like theater people and musicians, it's hard to play together over this platform because of delays and technical glitches and things like that. But you can't stop them from playing.
I feel like everybody's trying to make the best of it.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
And I know you've been participating in a couple of fun things that one of our Millikan faculty members has put together.
Yeah. Tom Robeson has been doing what everybody's doing. He's been putting his courses online, and I'm sure that involves some lectures and some group discussions on Zoom. But he's also had 2 featured talks once a week. One of them is where he brings in a guest artist of some notoriety. 1 week it was Doug Peck, who is the music director up in Chicago at Drury Lane Marriott. Where is he?
Ooh.
Well, sorry, Doug. We'll find out. We'll figure it out. Yeah. So he had him in, and then he also is doing another kind of thing where he just invites people to come to a book group where we discuss plays. And I attended 2 of those early on because they were talking about a Shakespeare play. They were
He
talking
was
about,
speaking your language.
yeah. So I sat in with those, and it was just great to just sit and talk about plays that people had just read and I knew from years ago, and just share thoughts about it. So that's been really fun. And that's in addition to delivering his coursework. So
Yeah, and I like that he's bringing in such a variety of people. I know that I think the second round of guests he had were both a husband and wife team that performed down at Disney. And then I think the third book club wasn't Shakespeare, it was something else. So I feel like he's offering some variety too.
Yeah, and I would say probably about at its largest, there were maybe about 10 people at both of those. So that's pretty good for students who are having, some of them are struggling to get all of their work done and getting their connections right to do the online coursework, but they just did it for fun. So.
That's right. We're not asking, they don't have time to do a lot of things just for fun. So the fact that we're able to offer some of those is nice compared to just, sending assignments via email.
Exactly. Here, read this.
Yes.
10 pages by tomorrow.
Well, we have some very special guests joining us over the next little bit. First up, we're going to have Dr. David Cook and Dr. Corey Seepy, who put on a performance last night with some other Millikan friends online. We're going to be able to show part of that video, which there's the downside of not being on the radio, but like the flip side is we can show some of these cool videos and share those with people. Later, Kevin Long and Emily Long are going to join us to talk about Some Enchanted Evening, which was the musical review that was supposed to happen at Millikan a couple of weeks ago. And obviously, with everything happening, we got shut down 2 weeks before opening. But our cast came together in a really cool way to sort of pay tribute to the show that would have been. And so we're going to talk about that and show that video as well. And then Jarrett Johnson, class of 2001, woohoo, who graduated with me back in the day. He was a music business major, and now he's based out of Los Angeles. Huge performance. He was just on tour with Michael Bublé. If I sat here and rattled off everything that he did, that would take up the rest of the show. But he was just featured in a video that went viral on social media. It was an arrangement of God Bless America that was a tribute to healthcare workers across the country. And so he's going to zoom in from LA and chat with us about that opportunity. Excellent. And how even in these weird times, he's getting like really neat chances like that.
Mm-hmm. And that was beautiful. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Oh, it's stunning. Really.
And there were some other, Greg Jaspers, who used to be a Millikan School of Music faculty member. He's also in the video in one of the squares. So there's a couple of Millikan connections in there. We'll show that video as well toward the end of our time together. So stick with us. We will be right back with Dr. David Cook and Dr. Corey Seepy. Okay, welcome back to Fine Arts Friday. I'm Beth Creighton here with Laura Ledford, and we have 2 of our favorite gentlemen with us. They have been to the studio several times, and we lured them onto a video call this time. Dr. David Cook and Dr. Corey Seepy. Hi, guys.
How's it going?
At last they get to see your faces. The gruesome twosome.
Oh, they may regret this.
I feel
we'll
like
have to go on video again.
I feel like you need a t-shirt, matching t-shirts that say the gruesome.
Yeah, it just says we have a face for radio.
Yes, that's our joke. We have faces for radio. We're ready to be back in the studio. But welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. I know this is a weird time and we're all busy in different ways. So I appreciate you working us into your schedule. So David, I'm going to start with you. How is teaching from home?
Teaching from home is very interesting. It's a different experience, and it's forcing me to teach in different ways, which is, I think, a good thing for all of us as educators to kind of develop our toolbox, if you will. But there's something, from a clarinetist perspective, there's something so much easier about being able to go like, okay, now move your hand like this, and you can actually, with students' permission, kind of like move things around to the right spot, where it's like, okay, now I have to stand up and like hold the instrument in front of the camera in such a way. So it's forcing us to be creative, but I think being creative is part of our very nature. So it's an interesting process. I'll leave it at that.
So
And
you have both private lessons and do you have courses that you're delivering?
Courses I'm delivering though, well, I'll start with the courses. The courses we're delivering online, and I'm doing entirely asynchronous, so it's all loaded onto the course management system ahead of time, and students are free to sort of watch videos and complete homework at their disposal, and schedule and everything is just kind of due by Sunday at midnight, because it seems like that's the best way to accommodate for the student schedules.
Yeah.
A lot of them are now,
They're
the
working.
primary caregiver or
Yeah.
keeping or full taking care of siblings are working, so just trying to kind of make things as easy as possible for the students. And the online and lessons I'm delivering through Zoom and just kind of a one-on-one format. And I know there's been a lot of buzz about what's the best way to do this, and I felt like right now, just being able to see students in real time was really important.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of all. We're just available pretty much whenever now. So to answer questions. So I think that's just trying to be accessible and reachable for the students is our primary goal right now.
Absolutely.
now, Corey, I saw a teaser, I think, that maybe you're working on something with the wind ensemble. I mean, doing a lesson one-on-one is one thing, but then having a group of people is another beast. How are you handling things?
Yeah, I mean, David was very optimistic and politically correct in his response. I can't stand it because my favorite part of what I do is and being a conductor, my job is predicated on 50 people in one room at the same time. It's the exact opposite of where we're at now. So I miss the wind ensemble dearly. I miss my conducting courses, with multiple student conductors in one class dearly. And the very nature of conducting is such that you can't deal with lag. You can't deal with two or more sounds going through Zoom at the same time. It just doesn't work. So, in terms of music theory and these sorts of courses that I'm teaching, we're getting through. With the wind ensemble, we're inches away from announcing the project publicly. There's been a lot of research that's gone into it, a lot of proof of concept, particularly on the digital side, the editing. It's one thing to collect a bunch of recordings. You've probably seen them online, these sort of virtual ensembles. But we needed to make sure that was feasible for the wind ensemble students to have access to that technology, to their instruments, to their parts, to be able to create the recordings. And then on our end, how do we edit that audio together? How do we edit that video together in something that will be worth the effort and will provide sort of a meaningful conclusion to this year for us? And we're well on our way, so stay tuned for that.
I'm excited.
Going to announce it on this program?
Oh, we could, yeah. I'm not quite there yet because there's enough audio editing that I have to do in the next week or so to make sure that it will sound worthy of everyone's ears. But I can tell you the individual videos that I've seen so far are outstanding.
I have no doubt.
What's your repertoire? What are you playing?
So we picked the piece that we were going to open our last concert with. We were going to perform next Friday, a really international, uplifting concert that pays homage to the Summer Olympics. So a lot of that repertoire is potentially going to just move back to next spring in alignment with the now 2021 Olympics. But the piece that we're working on is by John Williams, actually. It's called The Olympic Fanfare and Theme. And, he wrote it for the 1984 Olympics, and he basically says this is about people coming together and persevering, which Olympians do. So I thought that would be the right piece to try virtually.
Yeah. Let's hope we all can do that too later on.
Laura and I have talked a little bit about how creative people can't not be creative, even given the circumstances. And I know you guys had a little concert on Facebook Live last night. So David, before we watch part of this video, you want to tell us about this song?
Yeah, this is a really interesting piece, and it's, kind of one of the wonders of social media. I saw this piece posted online by a former coworker who had this person that he knew who wrote this piece called Music for Social Distancing, and it was for performance via teleconference of some sort, for performers or four or more performers, for individual parts, and could be done with or without a conductor. We decided to go with the conductor, and the piece is, instead of trying to fight the issues that we're facing right now as musicians in terms of you can't rehearse or have any sort of coordination if you're trying to perform over a teleconference, why not use that lag or latency instead as a compositional sort of inspiration for the piece. So this is a piece that either a musician or a conductor will give a cue, usually, something like this, and then everyone else is supposed to play when they see this, as opposed to when they hear it. So
Ah.
there's inherent lack of synchronization built into the piece, and he plays with time in very different manners. Sometimes chords are sort of pyramided in nature, so it's intentionally delayed or fragmented, and it's a really fascinating project. But yeah, I saw it all on social media, and the composer and I have been emailing back and forth, and we have a few mutual connections, and he's actually now working at a school where I used to teach, so we had an interesting connection that way. A lot of stuff, different paths converging in this. But it was a really fun project and a way to see a live performance in this quarantined, social distanced era.
And you got some friends to help you. Besides you guys, Corey, who else came to join the party?
Yeah, we had a great little ensemble of School of Music faculty. So Amanda Pond on flute, and David, of course, on clarinet, Claire Taylor on bassoon, going in score here, Gary Shaw on trombone, Tim Stockschneider on tuba, and Jeremy Brunk on marimba. So it was interesting, and I just muted my video because all I had to do was go like this, and they took it from there. Some of the music was designed to kind of line up, and some of the music was left up to the performer's interpretation. There would be a designated leader for each motive, and then everyone else would kind of follow their lead, kind of like a Zoom call. Someone speaks and everyone else responds in turn. So a really interesting conception of the piece itself.
Well, we're going to test my Zoom knowledge here because I'm going to try and share my screen, and we're going to watch part of this. Ah, there you are.
Hey,
there it is. Look at that.
There you are, Milligan.
That's right. All right, let's listen.
Or not.
Uh-oh.
I don't remember that long a pause at the beginning of the piece.
All right, I'm going to pause it there. We're going to share the link later. But it makes so much more sense to me now that you can see that they are all seeing you, Corey, at different times.
Right, and again, those were kind of cues to initiate a new event, and then they were asked to respond as they heard it, as opposed to immediately. There's a couple spots later in the piece where the ask is to be as synchronous as possible, and of course, those are moments where I had to try not to listen, because even when I go like this, everyone has different internet connections. So, and one of the fascinating things is Zoom and all these technologies are built for one at a time speaking, right? And ensemble music is the opposite. We're trying to create a balanced sound with all these different voices. And the technology, even when you tweak all the settings, which we did, doesn't know how to handle that, because it's looking for who the primary speaker is at any given point in time. So that was one of the fun things to hear. Even if someone else was louder in real life, the audio might literally zoom into this person or that person. So it was a fun experiment.
How many rehearsals did you have, David?
Oh, we did one pretty extensive rehearsal actually for I think 5 or 6 minute piece. There's a lot of tech we had to sort out and a lot of balance things. So we're all sitting here fiddling with the gain levels and microphone placements and lighting and everything. And then we ran through. We kind of did a sound check right before, and kind of went from there. So it was very what I think Claire said. We definitely peaked at the right time, as the as the case would be. But it's amazing. Even when all of our gigs are canceled and we're socially distant, it's still hard to find a time to get everyone in the same
I'm
in the
sure.
same space.
Do you have plans to do anything else?
I'm kind of working on this thing right now with just trying to kind of perform something every week and upload it to my own YouTube channel. Just kind of like, something that it's just kind of like the chance to make music because right now don't, we don't have that outlet. I'm thinking right now the next thing I have on the books is in September, which is the strangest feeling. Um, but that's what I'm working on right now. I'm sure Corey has projects that he's endeavoring as well right now.
His big one, but we're not
Yeah,
gonna
the big
bother
one.
him
That's right.
anymore. We'll wait for the big
Right.
announcement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big takeaway here is for anyone listening is to find ways to keep being creative, and like you said, it's just so important for our soul to find something, and not to try to replace something exactly, but to do something that's slightly different out of necessity, but also that brings you joy, and then share that with others.
I'm still fascinated I will be fascinated to see what kind of art emerges from these times.
Hmm.
I think, especially media, I think there will be some interesting things. But can either one of you think of important sort of musicianship things that you've taken away from just your experience so far?
I mean, what comes to my mind is maybe not such a positive thing, but what we do as conductors and what we do in large ensembles, specifically orchestras, choirs, wind ensembles, is so predicated on the interpersonal component. And so, a conductor in his or her room has no instrument, essentially. So it's a bit depressing to think of it that way, but I've really felt that void. And I haven't made time yet to get back to my instruments, my saxophone, my clarinet, because there's still a lot of work. Teaching digitally is extremely time consuming. But I do hope, especially once summer rolls around, if we're still kind of locked indoors, I hope to revisit my instruments. And that's been my ask of all my students is use this time to just dig in and play when everything else goes away.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think that first moment whenever we're back on stage is going to be a really powerful occurrence. I'm not sure how any of us are going to respond to that. And I think this is really sort of showing us that this is so integral to what we do. Like if this is not really, if not the thought of not performing hasn't really depressed you for the next 5 months, I think that's time. It's maybe like what should we question what we're doing as musicians and how, and I think everyone is feeling so sort of overwhelmed. I think that it's like there's a kind of a grieving process almost that I feel like I've gone through different stages of dealing with this whole thing. But I'm trying to spin it positively if as much as one can. I'm trying to use this time, for me at least, it's been like learning more about the technology side of this and the social media and all of that, and how can I continue to use those skills when everything returns to normal to better the art form and become a resource for the community.
Great.
Well, we appreciate you guys. I appreciate that your senses of humor are still intact. You keep me entertained, and I'm looking forward to whatever is next from you guys.
Oh,
The
thank you.
gruesome twosome.
Oh,
That's right. You've got a nickname now, David. Look
oh gosh. Oh boy.
All right, thanks guys. See you soon.
All right, thank
Later.
you. Thanks for having us.
Okay, welcome back to Fine Arts Friday. I'm Beth Creighton here with my co-host Laura Ledford, and we are happy to welcome Kevin Long and Emily Long to the show. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it
Yes,
going?
they are related.
Yes.
They're allowed not to have to social distance.
One of the few people next to someone in a frame. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. This is a first for we've only had 2 shows, but you're still first, so I guess that's true. Well, we want to talk about Some Enchanted Evening, and this is sort of a weird interview for me to lead since I was part of the creative team. But I will say that Some Enchanted Evening was supposed to be part of our studio series, which is sort of a branch off of our main stage series for the School of Theater and Dance. Kevin and I have wanted to do a Rodgers and Hammerstein review for
A long time.
a long time, at least 5 or 6 years, I would say. And so when we got the go-ahead to put this together, we were super excited. And part of what we wanted to do was, quote unquote, take the show on the road, which was set to happen April 2nd through the 5th. We had some shows scheduled on campus and also at the Decatur Club and in Monticello at Allerton. And obviously life happened. And we were 4 weeks into rehearsals, 2 weeks from opening, and the show was canceled. Emily was our student choreographer, and maybe from a student perspective and even from a creative team perspective, Emily, what were your thoughts when you knew that this show wasn't going to go?
Well, of course, heartbroken, especially for the seniors, because they're my class. It was our last hurrah, last thing, and then to have it go away without being able to do it was a little heartbreaking, but we made the best with it.
We did, we tried. Now, Kevin, let's talk about our cast. So when we originally started this, we were like, oh, we'll have like 10 people.
Yeah.
And then we had callbacks.
And they were all so amazing. And bringing such special talents to the table that we ended up with 18 on stage.
Oh, I didn't realize. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we did nine males, 9 females, no swings. We cast all of our understudies from inside the cast so that everybody could be in every show and have a part, and kind of built this show around the cast, which was a really cool thing to do. So Kevin, obviously we were also heartbroken as directors when this whole thing went down. And we had a Zoom meeting with our cast pretty quickly after the first week, probably.
Yeah.
So you pitched an idea to them.
Yeah, we had been watching so many things on social media where people were creating art together while still separated. And the idea so appealed to me that I brought it to Emily and Beth. And said, what do you think, what could we do that would involve everyone and still be able to showcase their individual talents, but that we could do together to provide some kind of closure, to get a chance to put this show in front of the public in some way, shape, or form, to their parents, to their relatives, to their friends that were so excited about coming to see it, that had booked rooms at Allerton, So it was just a way to I tried to sell it as, hey, let's put this thing together. And most of them were really receptive.
I'm sure.
Yeah, in the end, they were all receptive. It just took a little bit of prodding and Instagram messages and Facebook messages to get them to respond.
Beth was very good at the follow-up.
I just take their arm and just twist it just enough to get them to do it. So we picked the finale of the show, mostly because we knew it would highlight everybody, but then there was also some group singing. So I made an accompaniment track and then sent it to Emily and said, craft your email that gives instructions, because Emily was going to be the one that was going to piece all the videos together. So Emily, what did you ask them to do?
I asked if they would all record themselves while listening to the audio so that we can't hear the audio, and sing and act and do the whole song for me, and then send it to me via email.
And I would say it took maybe 2 weeks?
Yes, the first week we got no response. Love them all dearly, but
everyone was a little overwhelmed.
Little in shock, yes.
And then I had a couple friends ask me, hey, what do you want those? And I was like, now, whatever you want to get them to me, I'd like to get them soon, so I have time to figure out how to edit this. So then the second week, we started all the prodding and constant messaging, and we got it all.
The hope was to put it out near opening,
which we just missed by a couple of days.
Right.
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah. So again, we're going to test my technology skills. I'm going to try and share my screen, and we're going to watch part of this. Can everybody see it?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Yay.
Yeah.
We're going to share the link later when we put this video up. But I mean, I think people forget that, you know, like Jake, the first guy, is in New Jersey. Who else is in the video that's like super far away?
Thomas Dyer's in Orlando.
Oh, Florida, yeah. So,
Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all over.
All over.
just the fact that we were able to get all of them, and Emily, I can't imagine how long it took you to piece all that together.
Many hours. I heard about it, yes.
Did you say lots of bad words?
No, I don't say bad words, Beth.
Of course you don't.
Use that to me.
My poor brother had to give up his laptop though, because I was using his. So I could only use it when he wasn't like writing a paper or doing schoolwork, which was probably for the best because I would have obsessed about it more than I did. So.
Well, you'll have to get William to get together with some of his rock and roll dudes and do a little social distance, you know.
They should.
Jam session. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, we know that the video was on WAND today. I think the three of us are doing an interview tomorrow with the Herald and Review. So if nothing else, the video is getting the show that never was some publicity.
And it was a huge hit with one Dr. and Mrs. Pat White, that's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, they were just overwhelmed and sent it to all the cabinet members at Millikan and to a lot of our friends and patrons and donors across the country. So.
Well, you know, not every School of Theater and Dance is lucky enough to have support in upper administration. So we are certainly thankful to President White for sharing it far and wide, and we're happy to keep talking about it. They are, I was going to say they were, but they are a great cast of people, and you know, hopefully we'll all be back together again someday and we can do something similar.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Kevin and Emily, for joining us, and we'll see you soon in a Zoom somewhere.
Right?
Yeah. For you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
There you go.
All right, welcome back to Fine Arts Friday. For our last segment, I am happy to welcome Jarrett Johnson. Jarrett and I were in school together a long time ago.
Well, clearly,
hello.
clearly that class had to be, I don't know, you were all blessed with some magic fairy dust.
The class of 2001 was pretty awesome.
I guess.
We're kind of amazing. I don't want to brag, but we kind of were amazeballs.
Yes. Carrie Anderson was on with us a couple weeks ago, and so the class of 2001 is representing on Fine Arts Friday. We appreciate you joining us. So Jarrett, you are a Central Illinois boy.
I am.
And can you tell us how you ended up at Millikan?
Long story short, they said they would give me the most money. So that's
my story.
That's a fun story. Well, believe it or not, I was groomed and actually studying up to become a civil engineer. And my high school track was all the honors math, all the honors science. Ended up at some fateful day, and I had perfect attendance from third grade until senior year of high school. Perfect attendance.
Gosh.
Rarely got sick. If I ever got sick, it was like something very minimal, headache, whatever. So I'm in the nurse's office on some fateful day. I believe it was in September. And the lady was like, so where are you going to school? I'm like, I'm going to University of Illinois. I'm going to go, study engineering. She's like, really? I thought for sure you'd want to, study music because you're such a great, singer and everything. I'm like, no, engineering, ready to go. Let's go get it. she was like, have you heard of Milliken? I'm like, no. They're like, I heard they gave a lot of money away. I'm like, oh.
And they have a great school of music.
Well, yeah. I found that out later. But I then just, happened to, submit an application for their school of music, and received immediately a call back from a counselor at the time. I believe her name was Melissa Pursley, and I guess her name is now Pursley was Watson. She was like, oh my gosh, Jarrett, if you apply for this particular scholarship called the Long Vanderbilt Scholarship, I almost guarantee you'll have a great chance to win. And I'm very blessed to say that I did win that scholarship. And thank you so much to those amazing, trailblazers for students of color at Milliken. And that was kind of the big kind of push, like, oh, that's awesome. So then I auditioned for Milliken, and they seemed to really like what I was doing there vocally. And so I was like, well, then I had to convince my parents. Well, Mom, I'm going to school for music business. Business. Right. And
the magic word.
Selling the business part, they bit. And much to their chagrin now, I think I kind of, pulled the rug over their eyes a little bit, or pulled the wool over their eyes a little bit. And now I am a professional musician. And there you have it.
So life after Milliken, I mean, it's been a while since we've been students, but you're still very connected. I mean, you sing with the Chapter 6 guys every now and again. I know later tonight you're Zooming with Dr. Dave's class.
Right. Feel very honored to even be in the mix with people like Dr. Dave and yourself. So it's very cool.
Oh, well, you're very sweet. So let's talk about so you did Chapter 6 for a while. After that, I said at the top of the show, I was like, if I named off everything Jarrett has done in his career so far, like that would be our entire show. So give me a couple of highlights.
Oh, highlights. Wow. Well, I have been on tour, just recently came off tour working with Michael Bublé. We obviously, everything got stopped because of this terrible virus, and but up until now I've been working with Michael since 2016 as one of his background vocalists. Won a Grammy actually working with Michael on his Crazy Love record, which was really cool. That was probably one of the coolest things ever. Had a chance to work with Quincy Jones. I was a writer on the lead single for his most recent album, which came out, I guess, back in the aughts. But it was the fact that I got to sit down with Quincy and hear him tell stories. There's nothing more amazing than that. Him tell stories as if I was just a guy that, a person of rank, a person that's at his level. He's speaking to me like a regular guy, and I was just taken aback by, oh my gosh, I'm talking to the dude.
A legend.
He's the cat, and such a sweetheart too. Saw him again a couple times in latter years, and he actually remembered who I was, which was another amazing thing.
That's awesome.
Had a chance to perform with Take 6 multiple times. I've been on multiple tours with them because those guys were my idols growing up, and to actually join them on stage and go on tour with them and actually befriend them and have a real relationship with them beyond the stage, it has been incredible. And being on some of the most incredible stages, honestly, some of the most fun parts about it is giving my mother an opportunity to brag on her son. Did you see my son on the Grammys? Did you see my son on, not Regis, Kelly and Ryan? Did you see my son? I mean, like that kind of thing is probably one of the most fun things. But
and if you had become a civil engineer, that never would have happened.
Unlikely. Come out from behind my desk and say, I'm going to just give you some singing here real quick.
Well, so obviously you alluded to it. The world has shut down. Obviously, you're not on tour at the moment, but you're still getting some really cool performance opportunities.
Yeah. Wow. Well, the first thing that came up after everything was shut down, I got a call from Paul Langford, who's an incredible singer, arranger, songwriter, and a gentleman by the name of Eric Foster, who was kind of basically rounding up a bunch of different session singers around the country. And for those of you who don't know what a session singer is, when you hear vocals in a movie, television series, what have you, commercials, session singers are the ones they're like they're the bed, the vocal bed of what you hear, and they actually help to bring life to whatever's happening there. And I did not even realize that was a job until I was like, wait a minute. I go back. Yes, there was a choir singing in that one movie, that one part where it got really intense, or there was, some sort of vocal underbed happening in this particular part. So it was incredible that I was brought into that community. What they did was Eric and Paul decided to get 40 of some of the best singers that I've ever been privileged to sing with all over the country, to sing "God Bless America," and to just in an effort to try to just acknowledge the amazing heroes on our front lines, the health workers, and obviously even beyond, the people who are the essential workers in our country. There's nothing more valuable than them right now. And so it was an honor to be chosen to kind of lead the charge in that song as the featured vocalist, but even more the opportunity to use the arts, which is incredible. I guess when all is said and done, there are a couple of things I hope that are the takeaways. I pray that they come through with these two takeaways. One, teachers deserve to be paid way more, and that the arts deserve far more priority and importance in all of our lives. So that's the thing I pray that people get after all this is said and done, because it's the arts and it's our teachers who have shown their value more than anything in the midst of this tough season right now.
Yeah.
Here's to that.
Well, indulge us for a second, Jarrett, because I'm going to share the first part of this video with our audience here.
All right.
We're going to see if I can make this work here. All right.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairie, the ocean's white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
All right, I'm pausing it there. I don't want to, but I am.
It's just beautiful. Really beautiful.
Paul made an incredible arrangement, and he mixed it as well. Again, everyone's sending in their vocals remotely from wherever they are in the world, in the country, and making it sound like we're all in a big room as a united choir. I mean,
It's incredible.
Technology has come a long way since the music house way back when I was at Millikan, and before Pro Tools and all that kind of fun stuff.
Well, I saw it on Facebook, and I it's incredible. And I thought, wow, whoever produced this really knew what they were doing, because you hear some other, groups performing on Facebook or whatever, and it's a little glitchy and there's that delay and stuff like that. But this was, the production was amazing on this. So.
He did, everybody came together, did a phenomenal job, but Paul Langford, shout out to him and kudos to him, and doing an incredible job of making it sound so pristine and worthy of the workers that we were trying to acknowledge.
I said
it's getting a lot of play. Oh, I'm sorry, Beth. I keep interrupting you. Has it gotten a lot of play?
I think it's like last time I checked, it was like 40,000 plays so far.
I said at the top of the show there was another Milliken connection in that video, at least one that I knew of.
Yes.
Greg
Jasper.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Currently
I know a
teaching
couple
at
other
Kalamazoo.
people from the Show Choir Camps of America world were there too. So, you know, Milliken connections all around.
Absolutely. And it was actually even cooler. They were 1, 2, 3, including Greg. There are 1, 2, 3 guys who've actually subbed in for Chapter 6 at some point.
Aww.
Paul, Greg, a gentleman by the name of Brock Thornsboro. They all have come in and subbed for one of us at some point for Chapter 6. So that was kind of cool too.
That's awesome.
Well, Chapter 6 needs to come back to Milliken here one of these days. I keep hearing about you guys being really close.
Yeah, well, be on the lookout. We've been in the midst of all of our quarantining. We've been working on a couple of things.
Excellent.
If that's not a teaser, I don't know what is.
I like
Just
it.
know that the brilliance of Mark Grizzard is still fully happening, and he's still blessing us with awesome arrangements that will showcase his brilliance, and hopefully we can execute at a high level as well. So,
You know what I'm going to
sure.
request during this quarantine is for
What's
you
that?
boys to record the Milliken alma mater.
oh,
We're going
wow.
to have virtual commencement, and that could be the high point.
Wow.
Just throwing that out there.
Huh.
You could do it with the acapella app. You're the one who told me how to use that. So
True. Huh. When
Wow.
is commencement? We'll have to talk about that offline, I
Well,
guess. Huh?
you know, we're starting to plan it now, and we know it's going to be a virtual affair. And I was actually just thinking today, what musical thing could we do? And I thought, well, okay, we need to have someone sing the alma mater, but who better than you guys?
Wow, that would be fun. That would be
no,
like fun.
no pressure.
I'm the dean of the College of Fine Arts, and I'm going to extend this invitation to you right here and now for you and the Chapter 6 guys to send us a recording of the alma mater.
On my own behalf, I say yes.
Okay.
I will be
That's all I need.
absolutely about that. On the other 6 guys, I will reach out. Yeah, well, as long as Dr.
Threaten them
Holmes,
with me.
as long as Dr. Holmes will conduct us, then yes, we'll be happy to do it.
I'm sure
No
he'll
problem.
figure that out.
I'm his boss.
Talk to Dr. Holmes. We'll see what's going on with him.
Well, Jarrett, thank you so much. I know today was a busy day for you, and I sweet talked you into this a little bit, but you know I love you and appreciate you being here.
Thank you for letting me be a part of this, and again, thank you to every single service person, essential worker, health worker. My gosh, I'm in awe of the sacrifice that you're making. Second to none. So thank you for that, and everybody be safe. Wash your hands.
Yes, it was good to see you.
Say
Take
hi
care,
to
my
Dr.
friend.
Dave for us.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye. All right, another show in the books. We did it. Number 2 via video. Again, we're so thankful to Now Decatur and Newhoff Media. They're going to upload this as a YouTube link, and we hope that you will share it. We also hope that you will download the free Now Decatur app, where you can go back and listen to all of our podcasts, including this one and the last video we did a couple weeks ago. We're going to be back again in 2 weeks, and our show is going to focus on the art department at Milliken and also our arts tech and arts administration programs, which for a lot of people, I think they may not even know those exist.
They might not, but they should.
Yeah, and they're relatively new and they're taking off, and we have students and professors doing some really awesome, cool new things. And I can only imagine that this virtual learning has sort of pushed them to be even more creative.
It has. And it's pushed other people to seek out their help and support in being creative with media.
Yes.
Yeah.
We love people who know what buttons to push nowadays. I mean, that's all we're looking for. So we will be back in 2 weeks. Until then, stay safe and healthy and continue to support the arts in whatever way you can, because we are definitely depending on them to support us right now. So thanks so much. We'll see you next time.
Bye all.
All right.